Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beardy and the Baldy channel for a new installment of Beardy's Books. This week is May 3rd, 2017, and we've got a huge pull list for you this week. Or my pull list is huge this week. So we're going to try to do things a little different. I'm going to do a brief rundown through kind of all the titles and then talk about one or two at the end a little more in detail than I have. I'm also going to do a little announcement here. I'm going to try to do uh, maybe not every Friday, but I'm going to be doing a new thing called Beardy's Friday Freakouts, where I'm going to kind of go off on some things that I'm not enjoying, or it's more of a rant than just a rundown on things. So this week, hopefully on Friday, I'm going to be talking about Secret Empire issue 0 and number 1 that comes out today. The whole Hydra Cap story that's been a little bit about a year or so in the making is finally coming through. But I'll talk more about that later in a totally different video. So, quick rundown. New out today, Black Bolt number 1, uh, featuring the Inhuman King, or former Inhuman King, Black Bolt. Next up is the all-new Guardians of the Galaxy, timely for the movie release for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 this week. This actually, you can read the personality of the characters from the movie, their portrayal in this very easily. If you have not been keeping up with Guardians over the last couple of years, this is a great new jumping on point. It was a really fun issue, and it'll be really interesting to see where the new creative team takes this after the last couple of years with Bendis writing it. So next is Green Arrow 22, continuing the story of the Rise of Star City, as Green Arrow is encountering a new batch of villains and what's going on with Seattle. So Green Arrow 22, continuing its great streak. Champions 8. I will quickly say I really like this issue. It kind of got me back to where I was in the first couple issues with the way the team was responding to their fans and everything. So I really enjoyed this issue of Champions. The last couple have been a little bit of a downers, really well told, but I was ready for an upbeat issue, and this one delivered exactly what I was looking for. TMNT issue 69, continuing this cool story arc where I don't know what they're calling this arc, but the different mutanimals have been kidnapped and experimented on, and things are happening. But this was a really fun issue, picking up after issue 68, where the turtles are kind of pinned down, trying to figure their way out of the situation. It feels like there's a lot building in this. I like the way the turtles have been doing that over the last couple of years, where there'll be all these little things going on, and then it builds to like this huge story, and then it kind of settles down and then goes on again. So anyway, it's really cool. Turtle 69. Another 22, Aquaman with the amazing Josh Middleton cover. I look at that. This is just great stuff. This was a really cool issue. It picks up with the H2O Part 4 series. It actually kind of concludes the story with the Dark Water characters coming back and everything. And it was really cool because this reads, the last issue really kind of got you into that claustrophobic horror vibe. And this one carried that vibe on a little bit. And the only thing I didn't like is it felt like the story wrapped up a little too quickly in this issue. So I'm sure there's going to be some ramifications for events that happened here. So keep your eye out for that with Aquaman. And going to next up is I think this is the first time I reviewed a Lion Forge comic on Beardy's Books. A new series called miniseries. I believe it's a 6-part miniseries called Ab Arato, which on the back they nicely explain to you means it's Latin from anger. It's got one of the Psalms on there. This was a really cool issue. I'm going to talk a little bit about this one. It was originally written in French, and I believe it is set in Canada in the future. The little blurb on the back says, "In a dystopian future of mounting sea levels, the rich have access to a rejuvenating vaccine that can allow lifespans for hundreds of years. A young man named Rael arrives in the urban metropolis of Montreal and meets a young woman, Neve, seen as a even as a rebel insurgent sees parts of the city. A mysterious assassin stalks the streets." Uh, this was really cool. I saw this in previews a couple months back, and there was just a little couple samples of some of the artwork, and I thought it was really great. Um, it's like some things that get translated into English when it's not their first language. It has like some of the flow doesn't jive 100%, but it's really good. I really enjoyed the story. I mean, it makes sense. It's just some of the flow. If you've ever watched a movie that's not in English with the subtitles may seem a little jarring. But anyway, it's really good. I think it makes great sense. It's got a little bit of kind of like a Children of Men vibe going on, mixed with a little bit of Matrix style action and everything. And there's just great artwork in this book. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's about this young guy. He's moving into the city to try to go on and find an adventure, see what's going on in the world. Right as all these horrible things start to take place. I mean, there's just a great page here. I mean, look at the faces. Just like the colors are really cool. They've kind of got these muted, not quite full vibrant colors, but it really makes you feel like you're living in the world. So this was a really great new number one. Check it out. I know we've got quite a few of these at Comics Connection if you want to check this out. So come in or call in, reserve a copy if you want to check this out. It was really cool. You could easily see this turning into a movie at some point. So check this out, Ab Arato. And there it is. Another new number one this week is Jean Grey gets her own series. There she is. This is the Teenage Jean Grey that came. Excuse me, I think I would sneeze. Excuse me. Teenage Jean Grey, who is currently the leader of the X-Men Blue Team, is getting her own ongoing series, kind of off on her own. And it's really cool. I really like it because you're seeing her deal with some of the effects of coming into the future and seeing this world where everyone has so many expectations of who she is supposed to be. And I think I'm going to have a spoiler warning here. So just know I'm going to give spoilers from the last couple pages of this book. Normally try not to do too many spoilers, but so spoiler warning as of now. The cover actually really gives away some of the plot points in this. Young Jean from the past has been able to avoid pretty much everything to do with a lot of the problems adult Jean Grey has gone through in her many trials and tribulations. But she starts hearing this voice through the whole thing. You think someone's just like trying to get into her head. And then you realize, like I said, much to the chagrin of Jean, the cover is very accurate. The Phoenix is coming for her. Whether this is really real or this is just some sort of nightmare, we're not really sure. But it's great. Dennis Hopeless does a great job of, I think, writing this character. This younger version of Jean where she gets to think on her own. We get to explore more of what she's dealing with as opposed to her being just the team leader like she is in Blue or kind of a side character in the other books, the other all-new X-Men previously. So if you are a fan of Jean Grey and the things she does with the X-Men, this is a really great first issue. Cannot wait to see where the rest of this goes. And the artwork in this from Victor Ibanez and the colorist J. David Ramos, they do an amazing job in this book. I mean, here you see young Jean kind of ruminating over all the different lives adult Jean Grey lived through. Uh, and then Jean, she kind of does like a whole solo hero mission in this. The other X-Men from the Blue Team do show up at one point towards the end, but like, um, one of my minor complaints about the young X-Men, the guys from the past, the team from the past, is that I'm not sure how long they've been in the modern times, but they've adapted their dialogue, their mannerisms very quickly to modern day times. And I don't know if that's just for ease of writing or, not trying to make it feel goofy. I don't know. It feels a little off to me sometimes. But again, the story is still good. Really enjoying it. Um, every now and then you'll get someone will throw a little thing out there, but they feel like they've adapted to modern times a little too quickly for uh, my personal tastes. But it's still good. Still good. Next to last is Superman, number 22, The Black Dawn. One of the things, the reason this one is so high on my list this week is one of the great things I think that Tomasi is doing as writing the Superman series is you're getting to see a lot of a really fully rounded Superman, but we're also getting to see a lot more of Lois, I think, as a really great character. Like in this issue, there's been some crazy things going on. Batman's disappeared. In the last issue, John and Clark and Damian went off to fight the squid that was attacking the town. And this whole issue. It kind of feels like they robbed Lois of her chance to be on a cover again, because Superman's on one cover and Jonathan's on the other cover. But this issue is all about Lois trying to figure out what's going on, and I love how, I don't want to just say strong female character she is, because that seems like such a cliche anymore. But she's it feels like she's trying to figure out what's going on to her husband and her son. So here she is, she's following someone through the city or the town, and I don't know, this shot of her discovering all these TVs monitoring their lives. I just think that's a really great image. It reminds me of a little bit of Ozymandias from Watchmen, and it's just like this whole kind of, the story kind of flips here in this story, or in this issue, what's going on, and she grabs a gauntlet from the what was that, armored bat suit when she was up on the moon earlier in the series. I thought it was great. It was the what did they call it? I don't remember. The bat. It was this gauntlet. It's kind of like an Iron Man type glove. But anyway, she finds it. She gets to drive a Batmobile. This was a really fun issue. And last but not least, X-Men Gold number 3. Despite all the controversy going on with this book, I really am enjoying definitely the writing. And I got to admit, the art on the first 3 issues has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. This book really makes me think of the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont stuff from the 80s and early 90s. It just feels like the team coming together, trying to figure stuff out. Seeing Kitty as the full-blown leader of the team is great. She gets to make some hard decisions with some of the younger students at the school, going on a mission or not. Seeing her delegate, the teams, the actions of the team as they're going through trying to save the mayor of the city and all this stuff. And some great pages here as well. I mean, there's Prestige, or Rachel Summers, formerly known as Phoenix, and Marvel Girl. Like, I like Prestige. I think that's a great new name for her. Just a lot of classic, great X-Men stuff going on in this book. So there it is. There's Beardy's books for the week of May 3rd, 2017. I hope you enjoyed it. Sound off in the comments. What did you like? What are you reading? Let me know. And I'll be back probably Friday for Beardy's Friday Freakout about Secret Invasion number 0 and number 1. But that's it for today. Peace.